Hey, I'm Dean and this is Legacy Voyage. In Season 1, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full-time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way. I'm starting to try to learn Tongan, so as a part of that, I'm really looking at a whole bunch of resources and videos and stuff like that where they talk about how to learn a language, how important it is, the process of doing it, the systems you have to put in place to start learning a language. And one of the videos I found was it was this girl, and she was a polyglot. Polyglot, I believe is how you say it. And it's basically just someone who knows a bunch of languages. I think she knew like 10 different languages. And she was up there, it was a TED talk, talking about how she wanted to meet more people who knew a bunch of languages. And there were these events for polyglots, and they would come together. I can't imagine how that would be. Like they would just pull up and start speaking 10 different languages and just switch up in the middle of conversation. I felt like that's so sick. As she was giving her TED talk, she was trying to figure out what makes them different. Because a lot of the time we hear how it's very difficult to learn a language. A whole bunch of people don't want to do it because it's way too much effort. And she was interviewing a whole bunch of the polyglots, trying to figure out what makes them different. Are they just naturally talented towards learning a language? Are they just super motivated and disciplined to learn a language? Or what are the habits that they put in place so that they can learn a new language? And what she found is that there was one thing, one commonality that they all had. Like there were a whole bunch of differences in the actual systems that they put in place to start learning the language, if they moved to the country or not. They looked at flashcards, things like that were more personal, that varied from person to person. But what she noticed was this one thing that allowed them all to learn a language very quickly. And it was the fact that they found a way to make it fun, to have an enjoyment out of learning the language. And one of the books I read a while back called Tiny Habits, one of my favorites, it talked about, I think really the whole premise or the main point that the author really wanted to get across was that we change best by feeling good, not by feeling bad. And really the idea behind that is this thing called the feeling of shine. And the feeling of shine, it's basically after your favorite sports team wins the championship. It's that feeling that you get when you celebrate and you're like, oh, let's go. Or like if you're watching your favorite show and then something happens in the show and you're super excited for your favorite character to do something that you really like. It's those type of feelings that we're attracted to and that we love feeling. And with the languages, that's what she saw with polyglots, that they were able to find a way to enjoy it, the learning a language. Like they loved communicating with others. They loved getting things wrong and being corrected. Those are the things that they love to do. And applying this to my life, the way I've seen myself do these things is because back in like, I think I want to say second or third grade, I really had an enjoyment out of this math game that I really loved. It was like a penguin math game, and I had an overjoyed feeling whenever I passed the level in this math game, and I was like, oh, let's go. And that was the feeling that I really loved. And I carried that type of feeling with school, which is one of the reasons that I was able to do well in school, was that I had a feeling of celebration when I aced a test or when I aced an essay or did well on a project. I had this feeling of celebration. And I think that's one of the secrets to become an academic weapon, which is what I'm trying to be. If you get an overjoyed feeling when you do well on a test, then I think that has something to do with it. But I'm not sure because I don't think that's everything. Like I don't think you should put your value on how well you did on a test. It should probably be placed more in the systems that you put in place, like the way you study for a test or the way you take notes in a class. I think that's where the celebration should come. Or maybe it's more like if you do well on a test, you can celebrate and have that feeling of shine. But if you do poorly, then you don't have to beat yourself up over it. All you can do is look back at your systems and try to improve on those. This is just me trying to think out loud, really process everything that I've been learning while I'm out here. But I think the main idea for this episode the idea of a shine, the feeling of shine. He coined the term. His name is B.J. Fogg. He's a Stanford professor, and he coined that term as a part of his book. That I actually really think he's onto something and really agree with. Is that when people have this feeling of shine, like for example, an athlete like Michael Jordan, he has this feeling of shine when he gets the 3 pointer, or when he dunks the ball, or when he wins a championship, and that's how he's able to become such a great athlete. I think the same thing could be said for business people or even like computer scientists. When I was super into computer science, I love the feeling that I got after I programmed a super hard code very elegantly. Like I made it in 2 lines as opposed to 40 lines. Or when I solved a super difficult problem, which is why I got super into math. Because if we enjoy the things that we do, then we're probably more likely to do it. I think that's a lesson. But yeah, this is just me really trying to think out loud, keep my streak alive. 2 days in a row going strong. I ordered a microphone, so hopefully the sound quality will get better. Oh, for the life update, I think the biggest thing with the life update is that I got my permit. I freaking aced that thing. I was looking kind of worried because I failed the first time I took the permit test. But I think there's certain skills in test taking that you can just apply to any test you ever take. And just applying those skills, I think you're able to do pretty decently on any test that you ever take. So yeah, maybe I'll go into that in a future episode. Test taking skills. Yeah, I'm happy I did well on that. Passed my first time. Still waiting to get my license, but I'm about to be a licensed driver. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, without talk, see you.